What's up, photo freaks? Today we have photographer and photojournalist Rick Wilking. He is one of the nation's premier veteran award-winning photojournalists. He shot all over the world, over 110 countries. He has shot major news and sporting events, including 7 Olympics. He has shot worldwide for Reuters. And Rick is also one of my coaches and mentors and someone I look up to. And so today we're going to go over some of Rick's work and ask him some questions. So Rick, welcome to the show. How you doing?
Thank you. Glad to be here.
All right. So with Photo Freaks, we try to get our viewers, photographers who are up and coming, who are looking for it as a business, and for just the everyday shooter as well, trying to get them as much information. But people are probably going to get tired of me, I figured, so I want to go to the best and interview people like yourself and give good advice and tips for all people, so everybody can watch. So that's what we're going to do today, and hopefully this will be painless for yourself. So other than what I've described, in your own words, tell us about you. Tell the viewers about yourself. How'd you get to where you're at right now?
Okay. Well, humble beginnings, I like to say. Started as a hobby photographer in high school, and I'm on my 41st year as a professional photographer, shooting, as you mentioned, a wide variety of news, sports, entertainment, portraiture, basically anything you can think of that you might see published somewhere is kind of the work that I've done. And, there's people always ask me how I got started and how they could get started. And there's really 2 ways to do it. But I think the best way is what we call just sort of the school of hard knocks. I didn't go to a photojournalism school. I studied photography a little bit in college, but very little. Mostly I'm self-taught.
Nice.
That's what I encourage people to do. Is you have to get out there and do it. YouTube's a great resource that I didn't have when I was coming up in the industry. Yeah. And so, you see videos like this and maybe you learn a little bit, but you have to work hard.
Did you always want to be a photographer, or is that just something kind of like, as you were going along, you started figuring out, hey, you know what? This is something I can do.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed photography early on, and early on I didn't think of it as a business or a money-making proposition at all. It's about halfway through college I sort of switched gears on it and decided, I could maybe try to make a living doing this as a photojournalist. Yeah. And it was a very different world then. As I said, I've been in this for a long time, and you could get a job as a newspaper photographer pretty easily, and that's the way a lot of people got started. If you had any kind of eye or skill or talent at all, you could work for a small paper, and you wouldn't make any money doing it. But if you were good and your talent was good enough, you did this natural progression of going from a small paper to a medium paper to a larger paper, and that's kind of what I did. And then my big break was when I got discovered kind of by UPI wire service, yeah. And then that's what really launched my career.
As you I know when we worked together and when you were coaching me in Arizona, one of the first things that I noticed about you is your approachability and the way that you communicate. It's so easy. It felt like I'd known you for years. Has that been something that's developed, or have you always just been pretty outgoing? Because I know it helps me when I'm shooting weddings.
Well, yeah, your personality is important when you're in this kind of work, because you are quite often working with people, and and sometimes in photojournalism anyway, and people and not at their best. They're struggling to recover from a hurricane or from a school shooting or some tragedy, and so your personality does certainly come into play. You've got to be an easygoing, approachable person to be successful.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so we got some pictures here, some photos that you've allowed me to show. I would love to talk about and hear the inside story of when I know when I see these images, I think something, but it's always great to hear behind the photographer's eye. The first one I'm looking at is the figure skater. Is this the Olympics or what's going on here?
Yeah, yeah, that's Sarah Hughes, 19-year-old girl who won the gold medal in figure skating in the women's skating, and that was at the Salt Lake Olympics.
Oh.
And in sports, you're always trying to capture is what we call peak action. So that picture I'm particularly proud of because it was before autofocus was very good, and so there's a lot more skill involved in capturing an image like that then than there is now. Now it would be pretty easy
Right.
with a 20 frame camera, and I don't know how many focus points, but seen her. I've been shooting the figure skating at that Olympics for quite a while, and I've shot her in practice. I knew her routine. I anticipated that moment when she was going to make that leap. I knew it was coming, because they follow a set routine in figures.
Yeah.
So,
no, that's perfect. Gorgeous.
Yeah.
All right, so we go to the next shot. Where's this one at? This is where they're at the. Is this a church or what's going on with this one?
Oh yeah. See, I can't see the pictures that you're referring to.
Yeah, so the white room where they're all kind of crouched down praying.
Right. Yeah, that was at the school shooting that took place in December last year in Sutherland, Texas.
Geez.
And this is one of the strangest assignments I've done in my entire career. So, if you recall the story, a nutcase goes into a church on a Sunday morning with a rifle and starts shooting the place up. Killed a couple dozen people. Just horrible, horrible situation. And I rocketed down there and got there the day after it happened, and I covered all the aftermath stuff. This picture was shot almost exactly a week after all that happened. The people at that church decided they were going to turn it into a memorial.
Wow.
So they went in there and basically gutted it, cleaned it all up, and then opened it to the public, which is the strangest. I mean, a week later.
That's wow.
I mean, the crime tape, most times, in a horrible situation like that, the crime tape doesn't come down for weeks afterwards.
Yeah. That's
to turn it around and let the public in. It was just a very strange thing to be in that building only a week afterwards.
Yeah, it's got to feel a little bit eerie, or that's.
It was.
Wow.
Totally.
Right? Wow.
Yeah. So that was kind of an odd thing.
That's funny. That goes hand in hand with one of the questions I'm going to ask you later. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so this one, the next shot I'm looking at is obviously from a hurricane. Beautiful lighting, very well backlit. What's
Oh, the flooded living
Yeah.
room. Yeah. So that was Hurricane Harvey last summer in Texas. Also, Texas really had a bad year last year. Yeah. So this family, to get the coverage I wanted, you sort of have to immerse yourself with, and no pun intended because that's water, but you do have to sort of be in the middle of whatever's going on to capture this, to really tell the story. And that's what you're doing in photojournalism, your storytelling and photography in general. But so this family allowed me to go into their home while they were trying to recover some of their stuff. The sun was going down outside, and it just made this beautiful image of the sun streaming into the living room.
I love how you don't see any faces. It's just like a faceless silhouette of people. It kind of lets you kind of use your imagination. That's a great shot.
The light really made that picture.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, definitely. The reflection off of the water.
Right.
Do you use for something like that? Is there a polarizer, or how do you do that?
No, we don't. In news photography, we never use a polarizer. Well, virtually never. I mean, I never do. Maybe some guys do. It just slows you down. You don't have time to be spinning that filter around to get it to where you want it to be. We never.
That just makes it even more impressive. That's great. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so this one, I think this one was Arizona, if I'm not mistaken. The girl in the pool with the water.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
That was just a matter of that was a team effort there. When you're doing portraiture, having people help you with what made that really work was the water coming in from behind the model. there was two people that you don't see in the frame throwing buckets of water in. From one guy throwing it in from one side and one guy throwing it in from the
Yeah.
other. And the timing just worked out great to create that beautiful pattern of the water. You look at the girl first, of course, but then you also your eye travels around and you see these water patterns, and it's got a lot going on. It's just an interesting image.
Beautiful shot. And okay, this one, easily one of my favorites. It's got that 20s type vibe where she's got the fur coat and you got the scotch on the side.
Yeah.
What's going on? Tell me about this one.
Yeah, that one really does make you wonder. That I like the picture because it's a complicated thing. You're like, you immediately start thinking, who's the girl? What's the story? Where is she? What's going on? That was shot in California at an event that Sony put on called Kando 2.0.
Nice.
And we were trying to do a photo session of a film noir sort of look, and the light, there again, I mean, it's all about the light. Girl, but the light is just
the way that it hits her eyes, it's perfect, and everything is just like shadowed around her.
Yeah, but you still had to work for that. I mean, you walk into this room and you think, all right, well, where's the picture going to be shot from? What lens do I use? Where do I go? What do I ask her to do? And that you manipulate all those elements, and it's a lot of moving parts. It's not a snapshot where you have to think quite a bit about how you want this to turn out. And
that's great.
And that's the way I set it up.
That's a beautiful shot. And okay, the boxing shot. How did you get this one, man? That's great. And what happened? Where was this at?
This is in Las Vegas at a I can't tell you it was long enough ago that I can't remember who the main players were, but I hung a remote controlled camera in the ceiling of the stadium, and I triggered it with a radio. And that was serendipity. I mean, there's a lot of things that had to go exactly right. One, to get a decent picture from up there. One, you had to get a knockdown.
Yeah.
Two, the guy being knocked down had to fall on his back, not on his face.
Right.
And then his head land in that logo of that crown of Don King.
Yeah.
It was
that's perfect. Yeah, that's what first thing I'm like, it looks like he's wearing that crown. Someone just knocked out the king. That's great.
Yep. And Don King, the promoter of the event, saw the picture, and he bought several dozen copies of that to hang in his office.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and then he nailed it too. Just a split second, and he could be rolling one way, rolling the other. Just something could be completely off. Yeah, even the timing of the ring guy, the referee or whatever, his arm point, everything was just perfect. I love it. Okay, so now we got a rapid fire session, which I call "What's in Your Bag." As YouTubers are, they have a very short attention span, so usually they click off of a video within 3 minutes. So if they're still with us, I like to give them as much information as possible that they can learn from and take from you, the pro, in a short amount of time. So I got some rapid fire questions for you. Are you ready?
I'm strapped in and ready to rock.
All right. What is your most used or favorite accessory?
Well, I probably have two. One is for portraiture. I love using a reflector. One of those 5-in-1 reflectors where you got a shiny reflector, a white reflector. For fill light or using it as a scrim to put over someone if the light's hot. It's a $25 accessory. You can use it a million ways. I love it. For news, I do like using remotes. I do like radio triggers. I like to set up cameras in weird locations and trigger them with the radio trigger and just get stuff that you couldn't get if you were actually physically there.
Nice.
So those are probably my two favorite accessories.
All right. Do you prefer natural light or artificial light?
Available is my favorite all day long. Flash, particularly in news, it's tough to make it look like it's not there, which is what you want to do with a flash. You never want a flash to be obviously used. So I'm available light all day. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite lens?
Well, that's a tough one. In my industry, we use everything from soup to nuts. If I had a one favorite, it'd be like a 51.4. I have a 51.4 that I that I like to use a lot just because I love the shallow depth of field of it, or an 85 1.4
Nice.
1.2.
Yeah, I love
That
the 85. DSLR or mirrorless?
Well, I recently switched to mirrorless. I was a DSLR guy for my entire career, and I've been shooting mirrorless for the last maybe 4 years now. I started with it really heavily in the election campaign, covering Hillary and
Oh,
Trump.
nice.
There's so many advantages to the camera. I could list them all day long, and it's not just the form factor of being small and light, but there's many advantages to it. Uh, and write this down. My prediction is DSLR will be very minimally used starting in about 5 years or so.
Nice. I'm going to
Yeah.
put that down. Actually, I think the same thing, but I haven't used it as long as you. But yeah. Okay, so in all your years of shooting, and we've just seen a few here, was there ever a point, which I know there's probably many, but one in particular that stands out as like a wow moment, like I can't believe, I'm actually here doing this shot.
Boy, yeah. I mean, that's in a 41-year career. How do I
Yeah.
narrow it down to one thing? I mean, if there were one, I guess I would say there was one. And this goes back a ways, but in the 1996 election between Bob Dole, who nobody remembers anymore, and Bill
Yeah.
Clinton, Bob Dole fell off a stage in Chico, California at a rally, and I got a picture of him flat on his back, looking like he'd just been shot. It was in September, near the end of the election, and it probably had a major effect on the outcome of that election. And I was the only one to get it, which was really odd. There were 20 photographers there, and I was the only guy to get that
Wow.
frame.
That's
And so that would be the wow. I guess the
yeah,
wow
that's
moment.
definitely. Uh, Geez, the timing on that I remember that too. Uh, is there anyone in your line of work that you could say you really admire or look up to, whether it's now or when you were growing up that you were, you know, fond of?
Yeah, there's a bunch of people that I've worked with over the years, or that I've just sort of followed their careers of. Probably one of the most legendary guys that's still out there hunting around is Dave Burnett. Um, Dave and I got to know each other. We covered the White House together for a while, way back in the day. He's an awesome photographer, but as important, he's an awesome person. He's so approachable. He'll talk to anybody. He's not one of these snooty guys because he's been there,
Yeah.
done that he thinks he's better than anybody else. Just a very lovable guy, but one hell of a talent. Just amazing
All
guy.
right. Okay, so for photographers out there who are trying to start their own business or just kind of young in their careers, um, what's one photography faux pas or something you would a no?
Well, I'm going to sort of combine. I'll answer that, but I would say don't limit yourself. If I were to give advice to an up-and-coming photographer, don't say I want to be an X. Okay, I don't want to. I don't want to have people put themselves in a box where they say I'm going to be the world's greatest street photographer, or I'm going to be the best portrait or wedding or whatever it may be. Don't limit yourself that way because you don't know where it's going, and the industry's changing. Um, Even in my long career, it's changed quite a bit. So, and don't turn down work. If you can, if somebody wants you to shoot food to promote their restaurant and they're making a new menu, go do it. If you can make money shooting a picture, go do it. Don't say, "Oh, I'm too good for that," or "That's not interesting to me."
Right.
Um, so, if there were a faux pas, that's it. Don't put yourself in a
All
box.
right.
Let if it means you shoot real estate, or maybe you shoot. I mean, I pay attention, and there's a lot of paying photography jobs out there now, more than ever. But it's shooting cars at a car dealer, or it's food stuff, or it's I don't know what it
Yeah.
is. In real estate is maybe I don't know, but that would be the thing. That would be the mistake I would say don't
Okay.
make.
All right. I like it. Okay. So on average, how much time would you say you spend editing? Like say one image.
Oh well, see, yeah. We talked about this when I was doing some training
Yeah.
with you. Editing to me is deciding which pictures to use. Out of the 400 I shot, where are the 10 best pictures? That's editing.
Right.
What you're talking about, we call processing. Okay, so that's the toning. That's getting the color right. It's getting the white balance straight and getting everything. So you know it's always been my thing, and particularly in the news business, you got to get it right in the camera as much as you can. You know, we back in the day we were shooting film, so you didn't have this shooting raw option and then fix it later. So I shoot mostly JPEG. I don't shoot raw much, and you get it right in the camera. And so my processing time is very minimal. I get the white balance right, contrast, brightness, pretty much end of story.
Right.
Very quick.
Okay, so last question here. What is in your bag? What do you shoot with? What do you carry around when you have that backpack with you?
Well, my go-to bag that I carry with me every minute of every day when I'm moving around is two bodies, either a 1635 or a 2470, and a 7200 with a 1.4 converter, and I may carry a strobe. That's it. That will get me almost anything I could possibly need. The 1.4 turns that 7200 into 100-300 zoom, and so I've got basically a 16 to 300 range. These are, and I use the best glass available in those lenses. They're all 2.8 and two little bodies in, and that's what I carry.
All right.
I carry it all in one bag this big.
Yeah.
So
I love it. Rick, thank you for being a guest on our show. I appreciate it. Can't wait to work with you again. And yeah, so we'll hope to see you soon, man. Take care of yourself. Oh, also, lastly, before I do go, is there anywhere you want people to come check out your work, or anything you want where people can contact you that you want to share with us?
Sure. Yeah, go to my website. It's very simple, rickwilking.com. I would like to give a shout out to my book. There's my book.
Okay.
This is a good book for anybody who wants to learn from someone else's experience. This is a memoir. I describe what I've shot and where I've shot it and how I've done it over the years. If you're interested in travel, politics, photojournalism, photography, you'll enjoy that. It's $10 on Amazon, so check that out. But I'll just go to my website, rickwilking.com.
All right. Thanks, Rick. And yeah, I guess I will talk to you soon.